Hello there, and welcome. Today we're diving into an ancient Christian tradition that, you might be surprised to hear, works as an incredible blueprint for setting intentions in our own lives today. It's a story about stars, long journeys, and a simple piece of chalk that, believe it or not, holds some powerful lessons for all of us. Let's get started.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been walking around in early January and seen a strange marking scribbled in chalk over a doorway? Maybe on a home or a church? It's the kind of thing you could easily walk right by, but it has a really deep and fascinating story behind it.
At first glance, it really does look like some kind of code, right? You've got numbers, letters, a few crosses mixed in. What on earth could it mean? Well, I promise you it's not random graffiti. It's actually a puzzle, and we're about to solve it together.
This inscription. This is the key to a tradition that goes back centuries. It's a public statement, a declaration, written in simple chalk for the whole world to see. This whole practice is called chalking the door. It's a custom tied to the Feast of Epiphany, and it's not just for one group. You'll see it practiced by a whole range of Christians. The idea behind it is both simple and really profound. To bless the home for the new year, to invite God's presence in, and to ask for protection. It's an outward sign of an inward faith, and it's so powerful that in 20th century Poland, under a government that pushed atheism, this simple act became a quiet but incredibly firm statement of Christian identity.
But, let's look at this from a different angle, maybe a management perspective. This tradition is so much more than a prayer. It's basically a mission statement for your household. Think about it. It's a public declaration of your values and your goals for the year, and you're putting it right at the front door of your most important enterprise, your home.
Okay, so we know what the chalking is, but to really get the deeper meaning, we have to look at the feast it's connected to. And that's Epiphany, a day that is all about revelation, about a great unveiling.
The word epiphany itself actually comes straight from the Greek. It means a manifestation, a sudden appearance, or an unveiling. In a faith context, it's celebrating a moment where the divine is suddenly revealed, seen, and understood in a totally new way. It's like an aha moment, but for the whole world.
All right, so time to solve our puzzle. Those letters, C, M, and B, it's a brilliant piece of design really, because they do double duty. First, they stand for the traditional names of the Magi, or the wise men, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar. But at the same time, they form the initials of a Latin blessing, Christus mansianem benedicat. That means, may Christ bless this house. So it's both a story and a prayer, all packed into 3 simple letters. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While it's a shared feast, the focus of that great unveiling is a little different depending on where you are. In Western churches, think Roman Catholic and Protestant traditions, Epiphany is all about the visit of the wise men. This symbolizes Christ being revealed to the non-Jewish world. But in the Eastern Orthodox churches, the main event is Jesus' baptism, the moment when God's voice declares him as his son.
Here's a really helpful way to think about that difference. Imagine a big company is launching a new product. The sales and marketing department, that's the West, they're all excited about breaking into new markets, reaching the Gentiles represented by the Magi. Meanwhile, the research and development team, that's the East, they're focused on the official unveiling of the core product itself, Jesus being revealed as the Son of God at his baptism. It's 2 different departments, 2 different perspectives, but they're both celebrating the same successful launch.
Now, like any tradition that's been around for a long time, the way Epiphany was celebrated wasn't set in stone. It actually evolved over centuries, shifting its focus and its meaning as the faith spread across the world.
So this whole journey starts way back, around 200 AD, with some of the first mentions of a feast on January 6th that celebrated Jesus' baptism. By the 4th century, it's an official feast day. But then, this really interesting split happens. The Church in the West moves the celebration of Jesus' birth to December 25th, what we now call Christmas, and they set aside January 6th specifically for the Magi's visit. It just goes to show how traditions get clarified and refined over time.
And you have to understand, this change wasn't just random. It was a strategic clarification. You can almost think of it as market segmentation. As the faith grew and spread, it just made good sense to package the core story into distinct celebrations. Christmas for the birth, Epiphany for the revelation. It made the message clearer and more powerful for a bigger and more diverse audience. And that adaptability, that willingness to clarify the message, led to this beautiful variety and how Epiphany is celebrated all over the world today. So let's take a quick trip and see a few examples. First stop, Italy.
Here, the main character of the holiday isn't a king at all, but a kindly old witch named Befana. The story goes that she was too busy with her housework to join the wise men on their journey. So now, to make up for it, she flies around on her broomstick every Epiphany Eve, leaving gifts for all the children.
Okay, now let's head over to Bulgaria, where things take a much more bracing turn. Tying back to that theme of baptism, a priest will throw a wooden cross into a freezing cold river, and a group of young men dive in after it. Whoever gets to it first is said to have a year of good health and fortune ahead of them. Talk about a cold plunge.
And then you have Poland, where Epiphany is a massive public festival. I mean, we're talking huge parades in over 2,000 cities with people dressed as Magi, live animals, and thousands upon thousands of people singing carols, all joyfully reenacting that original journey.
What all this variety shows us is a universal principle, one that works in business just as well as it does in faith. Think global, act local. You have one core message, one central value, in this case, the manifestation of hope, but it gets expressed in countless different ways that are adapted to the local culture. Whether it's a kindly witch or a race in a freezing river, each culture makes that core value its own, and that makes the message resonate so much more deeply.
So, after all that history and all those traditions, what's the takeaway for us? What can we pull from this and use in our own lives? Well, let's try to distill it all down into a practical toolkit for our own journeys, whether that's in our family, our career, or just our own personal growth.
First up, declare your purpose. Just like chalking the door, be intentional. State your goals and your values, whether you do it publicly for your team or privately for yourself. Number 2, follow your star. The Magi were the definition of strategic focus. They had one guiding light. So, identify your core principles and then pursue them with discipline, even when the path forward isn't totally clear. And third, bless your space. Whether it's your home or your office, consciously work to create a positive, welcoming culture where good ideas and good people can really thrive. You see, these aren't just old spiritual concepts. They are timeless principles for living a well-led life.
And in the end, it really all comes back to this one simple, powerful phrase. Whether you see it as a prayer, a mission statement, or a declaration of hope, it's just a profound wish for goodness to dwell wherever it is you live and work. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. What star are you following into this year, and how are you declaring its purpose?